This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can find options that fit your budget and potentially lower your bills. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. Ever feel like you're being pushed or pulled in more directions than you can even begin to process? When life demands more than you can give at work, in your relationship, or at home, Talkspace can help. Talkspace provides convenient online access to therapy, psychiatry, and mental health support. Just answer a few questions online and Talkspace will match you with a licensed provider in less than 2 days, with some even offering same-day appointments. Chat with a therapist over live video, audio, or messaging so you can get mental health support that fits your lifestyle and schedule. No taking time off work, no commuting to an office, and no waiting room. Just support that meets you right where you are. Best of all, Talkspace is covered by most major insurance plans with an average copay of $15. Get space when you need it with Talkspace. And now, you can get $80 off your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Get $80 off your first month with promo code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com. That's Talkspace.com.
Welcome back to Higher Health with Dr. Elizabeth Rodgers. Spirit is coming in hot with another fully aligned guest. I'm excited for you to meet Lara Heimann. Lara Heimann is an internationally recognized yoga pioneer, physical therapist, and founder of the LYT Method, a revolutionary approach to movement that integrates yoga, physical therapy, and functional movement. With a mission to help people move better, live pain-free, and optimize their well-being, Lara has trained thousands of students and teachers across over 50 different countries. Her method, rooted in movement science and sustainable alignment, empowers individuals to build strength, prevent injury, and enhance longevity. A sought-after expert in wellness and longevity, Lara has been featured in The Today Show, Inside Edition, Good Housekeeping, Shape, Well and Good, and much more. She leads workshops worldwide and advocates for movement accessibility through initiatives like New York City's Department of Transportation's citywide yoga events. With a deep commitment to holistic health, sustainability, and aging gracefully, Lara's work continues to transform lives by redefining how we move and live. With an advanced degree in physical therapy and over 25 years of yoga practice and education, Lara is redefining the modern practice through her comprehensive LYT yoga methodology, emphasizing smart alignment, functional movement, and spiritual wellness. Sustainable, freeing, and efficient, LYT champions smarter, safer, and more conscious movement patterns and is practiced worldwide through daily online classes and a network of LYT yoga certified teachers and LYT yoga studios. Lara's work, much like mine, aims to empower people by fostering connection and health integrity. Lara's here to talk to us all about moving smarter, moving safer, and moving for longevity. And I couldn't be more excited for this conversation. We're diving into how movement influences our health, our connection to self, and even our spiritual well-being today. So if you've ever wondered how to move with more intention and create a body that supports you for a lifetime, this episode is for you. Welcome to Higher Health, the podcast that elevates your understanding of health beyond the conventional into a realm where mind, body, and spirit align. If you're ready to rise above the noise of traditional health approaches and connect deeply with your inner wisdom, you're in the right place. I'm Dr. Elizabeth Rodgers, a heart-centered, Harvard-trained epidemiologist, researcher, medical intuitive, and transformational health and longevity expert. In this space, we explore the profound journey of health and well-being, where every choice aligns with your highest self. Together, we'll unlock the true essence of being healthy, empowered, and whole. Lara, I am so honored and happy to have you here with us today. We have so much good stuff to talk about. And actually, the very first thing that I'd love to talk with you about is more about leadership, because from where I sit as just a non judgmental observer, like a scientist, when I first came into your stratosphere and started learning about you, it appears to me that you very much are like me and make the best effort possible to really embody what you do. I feel like you, to me, seem to not just practice what you preach, but you talk your walk or walk your talk, whichever way you want to say it. So, given that, I thought it'd be super fun before I have you tell us more about all the amazing things you do for us to hear more about you and how you embody your own work as a leader. And our work collectively aims to really empower people. That happens first and foremost by fostering connection, which is a big theme we talk about here on Higher Health, because health is grounded in connection, in being connected, and in health integrity. And I love that you use those phrases and terms because I very much resonate with those phrases and I use them as well. And because I know you're a woman who, like me, believes in leading by example, I thought it'd be so fun, because I've never done this with a guest, before we even get deeper into your work, to ask you, how do you make an effort to embody that connection, that health integrity that we both hope to really inspire in other people?
Well, I think that the short answer, thank you so much for having me, Elizabeth, by the way.
I'm so happy you're here.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things there, but I think the short answer is I've never strayed from what my heart told me to do. So for me, I didn't have to undo anything or rewrite something, and in a lot of ways that makes it easier. And I just, some of it I think is a lot of luck. I do think I have great models in my early years. I was really positioned as I was capable of anything anybody else could do. And so I never doubted myself in the big doubt. Of course, there's little things that come up. And because of that, I listened, and listened in terms of like in like deep listening. And that was guided me, and it's guided me ever since. So I've never strayed from that. And it's like, I think we all have these spiritual, for lack of a better word, antennas, and they can get pulled and tugged by, conditioning or upbringing. And so I just think my antenna was strong and I just never had to, I didn't have a lot of static. So I knew that when I moved, I felt joyful. When I was with people, I felt like I didn't have to try and be anybody else. And that was, I felt completely fine with that. And so I realized early on, like when people interact with you, they're bringing all of their life and their stories with you.
Yeah.
And that really, it's important to listen, but to not take it on. So,
Yes.
I think I had such great mentors. My dad I always called him like the Buddha in my life, this like an amazing human who was generous and humble and a leader in his own right. He was an orthopedic surgeon, super humble, and just had that incredible intelligence, but always the humility of like, I'm just a little dot in this universe. And in a way that kind of, that realizing we're just a part of this vast universe, it makes us maybe not take things as like so heavily as so I think it's just all of this different lessons that I got. And then I think people gravitate toward that. I think I became a leader because people gravitated to my sense of self. And that can be projected in the form of confidence or just something that like people recognize, authentic, so I feel like I've just never was pulled toward things that other people might have been pulled toward because there was some kind of lack. I've never doubted myself or put myself second. I've always put myself first, because that's selfless, because that means that I'm tending my house, my spirit, my energy, And when you talk about community, like, and connection, we connect better when we're wholer, you know? It's reversing the script that we've been told.
Yes.
We have to do everything for everybody else. And and then, you know, if you have time, make sure that you do a little something for yourself. And it's like, no,
It's the
always
other
take
way
care of me
around.
first. Yeah.
Yes.
And that has to, because I know I'm a better human because I'm wholer, I'm calmer, I'm just more integrated. And that integrity comes from never doubting that. I've never doubted that that was important.
First, just so many reflections about the beautiful things that you just shared. I think that it is such a gift that you got to come into this lifetime with that strong sense of self. We need leaders like you who already had the strong sense of self, right? I feel like I represent the other side of the leader coin where I had to overcome and navigate serious setbacks in order to achieve and arrive at that sense of self. And then from that place, I was able to use those collective experiences, to serve and help others. But to me, we just as much need the leaders who came with that knowing already inherently integrated into every molecule and cell of their being. And I feel like that is who you are. And I feel it so strongly. And for anyone listening who can't necessarily see the two of us, I just want to share that as you were speaking, Lara, everything you shared is certainly, I can reflect back to you. I can see radiating out of you that sense of wholeness, calmness, being integrated, and it just radiates from you. You have there's something about you, this strong presence that I find very comforting, very calming. And it's obvious that you are just living out your divine assignments. And I feel super honored that you landed here with me today. Thank you.
Oh, those words are really very sweet. And yes, I feel
oh my
lucky. And I also feel like I don't have to, just because I came into the world with that guidance already. Yeah, it's almost a responsibility. And I say that a lot.
It is.
It feels like a responsibility to share something that everyone can cultivate like you did, but
yeah,
have, more challenge in doing so.
I think that is so beautiful and honorable. And it's obvious to me you take this so sincerely and so much to heart. And it's also obvious that, your dad must be so proud of you. It's so obvious that you carry that same sense of, while it's clear you're highly intelligent, highly evolved, and somebody who is a being who is continuing to progress and evolve in this lifetime, you also carry very much that same sense of humility and awareness of what we really are.
Thank you. Oh, it's an honor to be his daughter. Unfortunately, he passed away 6 years ago. You can see I still
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know without a doubt in my heart that he's 100% here right now listening. And wow, what a team the two of you have been in this lifetime. That's something that I find that I did not have, I'm happy to share transparently. I did not have, a father who built me up and lifted me up and gave me confidence. I very much struggled with, abandonment issues and that fear of never being good enough. And I love getting to hear stories from friends and colleagues and people I know in the world about what the impact of a positive source of support had on their lives. And you are just one of so many women I've talked to recently who, when I've asked them similar questions about how they've come to this place of being in their lives, they've said, I had a parent or a dad or a mom that said to me, you can do anything, and really helped me believe in myself and develop that sense of self. And no doubt the two of you planned that so long ago. And I also love that you made a comment about your antenna being strong, because I literally talk about spiritual stuff on this show. I have quite literally used the reference of we have antennas because
Mm,
we do.
totally. Yeah.
And one point you made that I love that I want to highlight is you said my antenna was strong, implying that we all have them. And that is something I just want to highlight because we do.
We do.
And it doesn't matter how strong or weak or whatever our antennas were when we were born. We were all born with them, and we all have the same capacity to be able to develop them to be as strong as we want them to. And we have amazing leaders like you who help shine their lights so that we can see that no doubt we can do it too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I see that with all the people I've taught over the years. They all come from different backgrounds and histories, and physical pain is just really an expression um, of stored energy that is
Yeah.
full. And yes, you can have musculoskeletal pain and all that, but um, addressing like how to bring more of a harmony between your body and your mind. And I do it in a very kind of side door way, because I don't speak in a woo woo, like, because woo woo to me, by the way, is when you're
Yeah.
speaking something that you're not necessarily connecting to, or you're speaking in a
Oh,
way that other people have a hard time they can't imagine that. So I feel it's very it creates a boundary, and but we can speak about things that are true. We are bodies of energy. That is a fact.
yes.
Our energy is definitely impacted by our environment, physical environment, literal environment, internal environment. And there's so much we can do, like you said, no matter what your years before were, that you can change that. And it's like giving the tools to do it in a way that can land for people. They
Yes.
appreciate that. Yeah.
I love that, and I feel strongly that what you have done and what you've created that we're going to talk about now is very much in the energy of accessibility to everyone. And that, my friend, is just extraordinary. And I'm so excited. And so you're starting to hit on it, and I want to get into it. But before you tell us more about the LYT method itself, tell us why. Why did you create this?
Well, again, I think it's my antenna, because I didn't have,
Yeah.
I was doing what a lot of people do. 30 years ago, I graduated from physical therapy grad school, and then I became a yoga teacher very soon after that, and was teaching yoga and working as a PT, and really kind of kept those lanes separate, because
Yeah.
like many, I thought yoga was this codified, mystical
Totally.
practice that I could not question, right? And
Yep.
so with years and studying more yoga history and other philosophies of it, and I'm realizing, like, actually yoga, the practice of Western yoga, is very young, and it really was inspired by
Yes.
many different, it wasn't like somebody said, you have to do this. And these people that brought yoga to the West were men who had just developed their own methods, and they were just coming
Yeah.
there. So, it was like all of these things were kind of churning in my head.
Yeah.
And then I went back and got my postgraduate certification specialization in neurodevelopmental training, which is at its essence neuroplasticity. It's the ability for
Mm.
the brain to change based on like what inputs you give it. Like we have that ability and all through our lives. And I was doing it in a clinical setting with neurologically, impaired clients who had had a stroke or brain injury and
You
had.
read my mind. My mom's a stroke survivor, and I thought to myself, I wonder if she's ever worked with those kinds of patients. So
Yes,
there you go.
yes,
That's how it started. Keep going.
right. Well, then, like when you have
Yeah.
like any kind of stroke, there is often a motor deficit. Sometimes
Yes.
major, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's
Yes.
speech and all that. So I would work on the motor deficit. And
Wow.
typically, what would happen is if people who don't have this postgraduate and aren't as familiar with it, they would teach the individual to compensate. Like, okay, your arm, let's put it in a sling, and let's put that foot in this and give you
Yes.
pain. And like, and we believe like, no, with different input, you can actually rewire those connections to the muscles to have more of motor function. So you don't have to necessarily go right into the compensation, which is
Yes.
anytime you compensate, you're just going to make an injury weaker and worse and
Yes.
difficult.
Um,
Yeah. So
Lara, this
yeah.
makes me wish that I knew you back when my
Mhm.
mom was in recovery from her strokes.
Yeah.
She pegged what you were saying back then as a patient, and they kept trying to bring her braces to put on her legs. She wanted to learn to walk again, and she kept arguing with her PTs and saying, if I put these braces on, I'm just going to train myself not to give, to just, my body's never going to relearn how to do this again. And she eventually fought her way into a very special rehab program that is for highly motivated patients and was able to learn to walk again. But to your point, that was the main, in that setting, in a clinical setting, that was the primary way that they were treating stroke patients in therapy, was to go straight to compensation.
Yes.
And she was young, she was in her late 50s. She was devastated. She just wanted her function back.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it just, you
It's
get
so
it
I
completely.
totally do. And
Yeah.
so I fell in love with this methodology because I was like, first of all, it's giving people hope, and it's like,
Yes.
even if their function doesn't recover to what it was before, it has the potential to greatly change their life, change their independence.
Yes.
And so we were, a lot of it is being on the floor. You're doing things on the floor because the floor immediately gives your center of mass, your pelvis, extra support. So it also it's the pathways we took when we came out of the womb and became bipedal. And so we developed the deep postural muscles to, give us stability, the scaffolding. We did bilateral movement so that we could do some cross hemispheres so that we get more of the convergence needed for the eyes. There's all these neurological things. So, um, and I'd be working with my patients and seeing
Hmm.
like major progress. And then I would be going and teaching yoga, and it felt like it was kind of like a record, it was like
Yes.
it wasn't changing. And you know, change is good. We need to
Yeah.
like every day there should be a little challenge creates change.
Yes.
And our brain craves change. It craves
It
novelty
does.
to stay in that, like if it's like a muscle to stay active. And so I just saw this, like, if I could do this with people who already have some major motor deficits and they can make big changes, what would it be like if I applied some of this work to the yoga space, get
Mm.
people doing some of the developmental work prior? Because that was the other thing I saw is people come in with their existing whatever we talk about, like existing
Right.
life, but existing they move in a habitual way, they sit in a habitual way, and you don't know what you're doing. Like
A
there's so
hundred
many times,
percent.
I'll take a picture of somebody because I'm like, I want you to see what I'm seeing. Because
Yeah.
your brain doesn't, like, you think you're standing up tall and they're like, whoa, I look like that. You get
Yeah.
attached to it. That's part of your brain mapping. So you need different reinforcement, different input. So what I saw is people would come to a yoga class and they would just reinforce
Yes.
movement and postural habits they had. And I thought, what if we take this as an opportunity to rewire more optimal movement
Wow.
patterns, breathing, posture? And so I did that, and it's been very successful at doing that. And I recognize that it's
Wow.
really transformative for so many people because it is rooted in understanding, neuroscience, understanding the body, and then using the yogic, beautiful philosophy of really going inward and paying attention. I think that's really
Yes.
what yoga is about, is it's like using
Yes.
your senses to try and notice like how you're moving, how you're breathing, not just zoning out.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's where, and so then somebody came to me and they're like, I don't know what this is, but it's amazing. You have to brand it. I was like, what do you mean branding? This was like 13 years ago,
Yeah.
probably. So I had a yoga studio, and then I had yoga teacher training because really
Yeah.
my heart went out to yoga teachers. I did not feel like they were getting the tools to empower them. They weren't learning about the body at all. And
No, I am a trained yoga instructor also
okay,
I have over 200 hours back in 2008 and 2010. And that was always my primary complaint. I luckily had that training just because of my
yeah.
traditional, background, but I could see how the teachers I was working with in studios were not able to bridge that gap in the way that I was. Yes.
Exactly. And I thought, I'm a physical therapist. You don't have to be a physical therapist to understand the body. What's
No.
great is I know it really, really well, so I can
Right.
distill it into a very digestible, and it's exciting. And everybody should know about their body. It is the longest
Yes.
relationship you're going to have. And it's
Amen.
the vessel of your spirit. Like we should understand because it feels really, whether it's a stroke or like you have something wrong with your shoulder, it feels really not very powerful. I have no idea what is going on. And
Yeah.
so, and then, like in the yoga or movement world, to be guiding somebody with movement that includes moving your body and not having any background, that feels like not, it just feels, it's very disempowering for the
It
teacher
is.
and it's not helpful for the student. So I created a teacher training that is very robust in functional anatomy. And anyone, people can be super afraid to learn anatomy. People can think they're not going to like it, and they all end up loving it. But what's interesting is they come for that, and they often, when we ask them at the end, what's your favorite thing, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
things to improve. Everybody said it changed my life. And then they talk about how it changed other things in their life. They love the anatomy, and that's the thing, is anatomy is the investigation of what is underneath.
I love that.
So when you're investigating through your body, you go and hit into all the other parts. They're all integrated. I wish people would stop being
Yes.
like, here's mind, here's body, here's spirit. They are
Yes.
connected. Yeah, that dualistic Descartesian philosophy has really done us not good
Yes,
in our
it
medical world.
is. It is.
But believe me, it also exists in the yoga world. Like when people say, well, is this a spiritual type of yoga? I'm like, of course it is. It might
It's
not be,
yoga.
again, right. It might not
Yes.
be like the way that you are thinking of it.
Yes.
So again, I welcome all kinds of practices of it, but I want people to feel empowered in their body because that changes everything. It really does.
It is the most beautiful thing to hear from an instructor and a leader like you. We need that type of leadership, and it is so, so, so important. And I love how you said the anatomy is the investigation of what's underneath. You know, you're reminding me of just my own experience navigating yoga studios as a student, even on both sides, both pre and post becoming an instructor. And something I observed as a student that has really driven me away from studios is I want, when I teach and when I practice, to me, first and foremost, yoga is my time to turn inward and connect and to listen to my breath, to connect through and with my breath. And if I can't hear myself breathe, and if there's distraction because they're blasting music in the studio, to me, all of a sudden, I'm not so sure we're practicing yoga anymore. It's something else entirely. And so I stopped. I started having a difficult time finding studios that were not as westernized, that just had instructors that taught us to breathe, that focused on the breath and connection and helping us be more introspective about our bodies. It gets harder and harder to find those studios because we blast the music. People think that's what yoga is, and now it's just another kind of trendy yoga, trendy studio workout. And thank you for just preserving yoga for what it really is and incorporating it in a way that's so authentic. That
Well,
just,
thank you.
I
I
can't
think
tell you what that
yeah.
means to me.
Oh, I mean, truthfully, just on the flip side of that, I do love
Yeah,
music. I don't like to
I
dance
do
it.
too.
I have a lot of drums and I have a lot of non-vocal things because, since the beginning of civilization, we have used music as this facilitator for the spirit.
Totally.
I just randomly, like, I agree with you. If I just come in and somebody's just putting on all their favorite music,
Yes, that's
playlist,
what I'm talking about. Like, hey, I just
no,
made everybody, and
it's
I've
like,
been to
yeah,
those classes, like, hey, everybody, it's our special Friday playlist.
yeah,
And I'm like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
but
no,
that kind of music, as in like drums
yeah,
and binaural beats and
yes,
things
yeah, yeah,
like that. Now
yeah.
that I'm
Yeah,
all
it's
about.
it's like I call it like I'm a basketball fan. I grew up, my son plays basketball, and
Cool.
it's like you've got the five men or women playing, and then the
Yep.
the crowd is like the sixth man. So I think of music as the sixth man. It's not taking away from what's happening. It's just adding some extra energy, but it definitely shouldn't take it away. So I'm very, very mindful of that.
I am
I
too.
think that people sometimes think I was a DJ in my last life because I find these really interesting,
That's so cool.
fun things that, but to your point, I think that there should be options. And that's one reason,
Yeah.
for instance, on our online platform, many of our classes, I would say probably 60, over 50% have a playlist option.
I love this.
That way people can decide they want to add the playlist. They don't want to add the playlist. It's totally a personal thing. And so that's another great thing about having the online option with so many classes is there's lots of different options within the classes themselves. Yeah.
This is so beautiful. And since we're starting to talk about all the different options of what you do offer, tell us, tell us more exact about the LYT method and what
Yeah.
exactly, what exactly it offers to
Yeah.
anybody and everybody.
Well, you'll love this because I just know you already.
I already
Um,
know I will.
it actually, you just say it's lit, the lit method. And
I love that.
right?
Oh,
Like this
lit.
onomatopoeia. You say it and you are like lit, right? So it's this
I love this.
endeavor, like my endeavor is to be lit up in my life,
Me too.
with my family, in my home,
Yes.
like that there's this light that's coming out and coming in. It's like always being regenerated. And that is so it's an acronym. It's Lara's yoga technique. The branding people wanted my name, and I really did not want my name in the thing like Lara's yoga or something. I just felt like
Yeah.
it was very limiting and just not who I am.
It's
But
not who I
I
am either.
had
I
a
get it.
compromise. What I said is like, I talk about feeling lit up. Why don't we use it as an acronym? And they were like, oh, love it. So
That's beautiful.
yeah. So anyway, so I had the studio, and then we started doing online classes over 5 years ago, and then the online teacher training because people don't always have a month to give of their time to fly somewhere. The training is very robust. We have a 200 and a 300 hour, and we're now looking at doing different kind of versions of that for people that we have over 1,000 people around the world that have gone through it. Majority of them, I will say 70% were already existing teachers, some with, whatever, 10,000 hours, like so many, so much.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh. There are just,
so many, but
oh,
they were
there's so
they were
many.
just missing this link and it's a method. So the method is there for a reason. There is a blueprint to every class, and it does follow that because that is the neuroscience of it. And then blended with that is the physical therapy lens, like some of this going into end range motion, sagging into joints, that a lot of this more what seemed to be performative yoga really I felt was not very welcoming, nor was it a good idea, you know.
No.
So we really take it from that PT lens, like how do you hold yourself in space and not collapse into
Mm,
your joints? That probably means you're
yes.
not going to go and
Mm,
try and put your head between your legs and do all these things. That's just not available for most people, and we shouldn't be teaching it. But we can definitely teach how do you fulfill the mobility potential in your joints in a balanced way where these deeper proximal postural muscles are responding to movement as they should with time and modern lifestyle, those deeper muscles that we developed in those developmental years become a little dulled, right? So the connection, the antenna there is very old, and we really need to update it because and the way we update it is we have to go into smaller movement where we have some facilitation from the floor. So we do that all in the beginning of our class, and it's called the reset. And the reset can be 5 to 15 minutes, depending on the length. And it really sets up the brain body to literally move in this most balanced, harmonious way. Then we do our sequences. And then we have another thing that's part of our method, which is called the stream, where you repeat the sequences and maybe you change some things about them. But that is giving that, if you've ever danced, you repeat things many, many times. And
yes, I grew up a dancer.
Right?
Yes.
So,
yep.
And I always felt in yoga, I was like, oh, that felt really good. And we're never going to do it again in this class, right? So it's like, so I was thinking like, also from a brain perspective, it makes sense to repeat because we want that, right?
So true. I never thought of that.
Yeah, right? Like you're just like,
so
oh, that's so good. And that's the only time
and that's the only time you're going to do it. So
but
true.
what's awesome too is you're teaching and training yourself through the noticing, like, oh, this second time I did that, it felt different. That's creating the feedback loop in your brain that makes you want to do this again, because you literally experience the change in real time from the first time you do it to the stream. And we have classes. So we have this online platform. It is super robust. It's very, you go on there and you're like, you could be,
there's so much. I've been on there like so many times in the past few days. It's incredible, everyone, just so you know. Yeah, she's not just saying this.
So it's a lot. And I always like to say that because people can get overwhelmed. You know, when you like scroll to watch a movie and you spend 15 minutes watching it and you're like,
yes,
I don't have time to watch the movie anymore.
Yes.
You don't want that to happen. Like if you have a valuable time, so we try and make it, we really order it specifically. At the top, you have this toggling of beginner, intermediate, advanced. That just is the type of class. It's not you. It's like, what do you want today? Something a little slower.
Got it.
Instruction, beginner, intermediate. We always give instructions that should be able to land for multiple, people and experiences in every class, but you can know, like, this is what you're going to expect in this. Advanced, it's going to be quicker, not faster, but the coordination is kind of already expected, so to speak. Yeah. So if something feels fast, just think, I don't yet have that coordination. We don't do fast for the sake of fast. It's how you move, because agility is a big component of how well you're responding in real time to the demand. And that's that antenna, that quick connection. I'm going to step here, pivot to the back of the mat, lower my hip. And yes, joint mobility, tissue pliability will impact that. But we're not going so fast that even if you're limited in those ways, you can't get it. But yes, if it feels fast, you can just try another level. You can even go onto the screen and turn the speed down. But there are slow classes. There are PT prehab classes. And we have the classes of the week that are recommended. If you don't want to scroll and look at all of the content, just go to, like, today is Tuesday. I'm going to look at that class or whatever day it is, and this is the class I'm going to take. So we try and make it easy. And then once people are on it for a while, they know it better than I do. They're like, oh, you want to find this there, try that. We have a community, by the way, and the community has comments. They'll say, oh, you've got to, it's very engaged community as well, so that you can, ask questions, especially if people love to welcome new people on, because it's like bringing.
It's so true. It's exciting.
It's a really positive place. And that is, I think, the most. I ran retreats for 2 weeks. So over 50 people over 2 weeks. And, everybody is like in this amped up, not like toxic positive. It's like real positive zone.
Yeah.
It's just so jazzed to be working on themselves and seeing results and then being in a community that gets it.
With people that get it and want to do the
Yeah,
same thing. Isn't it the most awesome
so
feeling?
amazing. And it's
It is.
fun and it's like, there's no people. I would have teachers who have taught in other studios talk about these things that they'd seen in classes. And I'm like, those don't happen in my classes. I don't know why, but I think it's that they I draw the people who aren't interested in the comparison games, who aren't like
No.
showing off, who aren't, equally immediately feeling wounded about something, so it's like the whole like people are just there for themselves, not focusing on
Yes.
what other people are doing and really just trying to be a better human. And I'm just giving the tools that can really help because when you feel more empowered in your body, it affects every system in your body.
It 100% affects every system in your body, not just on the physical level. It
Wow.
affects everything, your mental and emotional health, your energetic health, how you feel, just like you said, our spiritual antenna. It affects how we feel about the strength of that antenna
Yeah.
and our ability to just anchor into connection. And I feel like the more we get to know our bodies, I'm very much in this place of exploration with my own body right now as I continue my own work. And when you actually start, I feel like this is something you can speak to, but something I'm noticing, and I'd love your reflections about this, is that, like you said, it's not just that when you connect to your body, and when you're moving it in a way that actually makes sense for your body, not the way we habitually trained our bodies to move, it shifts something. Something changes, not just at a physical level, but at a deeper level. And I have to tell you, I have grown this new relationship with my body as a result of just getting present with my body, just
Mm,
prioritizing my body, just connecting with it in the exact way that the LYT method approaches how we move. And it's a literal game changer. I feel like for the first time, I'm in sync with my body and in tune with it in a way I never have been. I feel like I'm able to sense the cues that it gives me in a way I never was listening before. I
mm,
feel like I'm able to move and navigate the world in a way where I can actually start to feel the micro changes in myself. I feel my shoulders hanging lower instead of squeezing them up by my ears because I'm paying attention to
mm.
whether or not my body's relaxed or holding on to tension in places it doesn't need to. And anyway, I can't speak enough about the blessing of connecting with your body on purpose. And I feel like the LYT method does that for us, guides us to do it in a way that's safe, that feels approachable, and that it helps us fall in love with that process of connecting again. I feel like so many people spend so much time disconnected that if you're new to this whole kind of concept, going in and really connecting with your body can almost feel like a little scary.
Yeah.
You can have a little anxiousness around it. And I really feel like the LYT method has created a safe space for people to do that and to discover and explore. And
Well, thank you.
wow.
That's our goal. And it's really the message I say over and over again is your body is really working for you. You just might need to give it more tools to, like you said, to have those communication lines clearer because it's working for you. It gives us signals. But to
Yeah.
your point, we have, you get signals enough and you ignore them, then your brain's like, oh, that's not as important. You know, um,
Yeah.
that's why I have this stand tall,
I love
right?
that.
And it is like when I walk around
Ugh.
with this, I have it in so many different colors. People, they smile. It changes them because it's a reminder, actually, inhabiting your space, standing tall, you will feel different. You will feel more confident and more capable. We know that to be true. This has been tested, but we already know it. Like it makes
Yeah.
sense, but the neurotransmitters change in a very short amount of time. And
Mm.
we have not been able to stand tall always because we have ignored those signals, not on purpose. Life is busy, but
Yeah.
we were getting signals like, that's not a good place to be, slumped over,
Yep.
shoulder, whatever it is. So we start to clear the cobwebs, and again, that antenna is clearer and stronger, and that is powerful. So if it feels a little scary, just remember like, wow, what you're doing is the good, necessary work to befriend yourself by befriending your body.
That is so beautifully said. And I feel like another lesson in what you've just said too is that, even if you feel that hesitancy or a little bit of fear, or discomfort, anxiousness, give your body permission and give yourself permission to move beyond that feeling
Mhm.
because there's something completely different on the other side waiting for you. And I think so often we can let that feeling just scare us away. And so we don't give ourselves the chance to go past that, to get connected and then feel the gift that's waiting on the other side that we just weren't really thinking about at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's even on your website, I think it says that this about the LYT method, and I loved this. So I even wrote it down yesterday that it promotes smarter, safer, and more conscious movement, more conscious movement. And that just resonates so deeply with me. I feel this is such an important concept, and it's in total and complete alignment with everything we talk about and the entire concept of higher health, which is all about consciously and intentionally being healthy. And I really feel like we're like we speak the same language. And
I love that.
so, can you speak more? Is there anything more you'd say to us about the LYT method and how it encourages us to be more, more conscious with our movement? I feel like it's so obvious that the practice itself that you've described is designed to get us, to be more conscious in the practice, in the class itself.
Yeah. I think what whether other forms of yoga do this or not, sometimes you can like be in a flow state and you perceive that to be like just not connected. And what I perceive flow state to be is you are paying attention moment to moment to moment
Mm.
without the laundry list in your head. This is where you are totally tapped into this moment because the body is always present, whereas the mind is not normally present. But through the body, the mind is trained to be present. And that is consciousness. And then when you start paying attention to, oh, hinge at your hips versus tip your pelvis, put your hand here directly under your shoulder, that 15, 20 hour minutes of practicing that doesn't stop. You then go into your life and you're thinking, is this in alignment with me? Do I want to do this? Do I want to eat this? Do I want to engage with this conversation? It doesn't stop because that would make no sense. You've
No.
changed the molecular reconfiguration of your nervous system in those moments of consciousness, paying attention. So it's not just alignment for the sake of alignment. It's
No.
I am paying attention in each moment to how I can best support my body. And then guess what? That just the return investment on that is
Mm.
huge because you will not want to go and then put crappy food in your body. You will not want to hear from somebody who's being rude to you and like you will be so much clearer and conscious in every domain. So going back to the very beginning when you were saying I walk my talk, I do that because it's easier.
It
Like
is.
I'm not different people in different ways. I don't
Same.
put on a hat and act like this and then act, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that's a lot easier.
it
So
really
it's
is.
that clarity. And by the way, like I've been vegan for 23 years
Mhm.
because that's what resonates. The non-vegans are sometimes like, oh, is she gonna? I'm like, this has nothing to do with you. Sorry.
No,
This is everything to do with because my clarity, my alignment dictates this. This is true for me and it feels right for me. And I'm not minding what anyone else is doing because of that, you know? And so
Yeah.
I think it's just consciously paying attention to alignment as a vehicle for honing your, like going back to your antenna, that you are aligned. And we talk about that. Alignment is not just biomechanical alignment, it is aligning your values with your actions in a way that is true to you. So you
Lara.
feel lit up because you feel lit up when you're not
Yes.
inconsistent. You know, it doesn't mean we don't have, I mean, we all have flaws, but I'm saying it's a spectrum. It's not a finite. Oh, I got it. I'm always consistent. No, but you're in the spectrum of life. You're in this balance where you are consistent. And yeah. And then there are moments and then when you get that really yucky feeling, you're like, oh, whoops, that I pay
Yes.
attention to that. Like that means that's not in alignment with me.
Yes. Ugh. I feel like if there was such a thing as a movement that was created intentionally for higher health, it's this.
I
It's
think
the LYT
it
method. I feel like everything we both do is they're just these perfect, they're perfect complements to each other. And everything you just said, Laura, is like just music to my ears. And I absolutely feel very lit up right now with you
Oh,
because what you're saying is what higher health is what being healthy is, right? And I always say on this show, being healthy is just being connected to yourself, mind, body, and spirit so that you can make the choices in alignment with your
mm,
healthiest and highest self. And I feel like what you just said is the same thing in just some different words. And that what the LYT method can do for us is be that vehicle, is be that bridge to help us connect, to help us be conscious, to help us make choices that are in alignment with our healthiest self. Because, like you're saying, and I love, and on your website, you use this phrase sustainable alignment. And I'm
mm,
obsessed with that. And I even wrote it down last night because what you just described for us in the last few minutes to me is the essence of that, of the essence of sustainable alignment. That when you get so consciously connected and you're in tune and connected with your body, now all of a sudden you're in alignment. And now, like you said, it's just easier to stay in alignment.
yeah.
It's just easier then to make the healthier choices. It's easier to go do the things that you maybe felt like were quote hard before to do to be healthy because now all of a sudden you're coming from a completely different mindset and perspective and it's one of being connected and healthy. And I am just madly in love with this and everything that you just said.
Well, thank you. I hope everybody can
I
experience
do
it, and
too.
they can. I'm offering your listeners a special code. I guess it'll be in the show notes to
It
try
will be.
5 weeks. 5 weeks for $5, and you can always reach out to me at any time with any questions. I love hearing from people. Like I tried this class. What other classes would you recommend? I have a whole team of people too who are there to support. So it's a really vibrant community that just believes in this fully and wants everyone to, again, feel at home in their bodies to feel that alignment.
Well, it's obvious, and you are really the one that started all of this. This is, to me, all of that is a reflection of your ripple effect. You know,
Mm,
you created this method, you put your energy and consciousness and intention into it. And then you created this LYT method, which to me is like you gave birth to this whole other separate consciousness that
mm,
now you have sent out into the world. And everyone that is a representative of this method to me is just a reflection of you and everything you've created for us in the world. And that is really, really beautiful. And it's obvious that this is such a supportive, genuine community. I think that is just so important and so needed. We both know that having authentic, genuine support around you whether it's in the form of your interpersonal relationships or even just communities you take part in like this, it matters.
Yeah.
And those connections will also help you stay in alignment. I know they sure do for me.
Yes. I
Yeah.
agree. Well, thank
Yeah.
you so much, Elizabeth.
Thank you
So
so
amazing. The
much,
words are so
Lara.
kind.
This has been such a joy for me. You know, I got out of the habit of asking my guests this, but it's actually my favorite question. So, just a quick like backstory. This question comes from my my history. Years and years ago, when I was in my mainstream career, I worked for a little while on a program called the 10 Keys to Healthy Aging that was created by the Centers for Disease Control in conjunction with some of my faculty and colleagues. And I have a completely different perspective on what those 10 keys now are to healthy aging. You know, some of the keys were basically things that are just about how to manage your health, not to how to actually grow and improve it. So I love now to imagine what if you and I and all of us who are like minded create the real keys to optimal health and longevity now, because we know that it's not just about managing your blood pressure. It's not just about staying up to date with screenings or things like that. There is so much more. And so I'd love to ask you if we were creating, which we are, our own, what the real 10 keys to sustainable, optimal health and longevity are, what would you tell us that one or more of them are?
I think one would be remember to play,
Mm,
because it's so
uh,
sad. You know, you go and you see kids on playgrounds and then there's just this big gap, and because play is, it's joy expressed in movement just for the sake of that. And that we have lost that connection to just using our body, moving our body
it's
and
so true.
playing. But so emotionally, that's amazing. It's also great for your brain. It's really great for your body. And it's just overall this kind of just a different lens of looking at aging, like the
It
things
is.
we need to play and play more.
Yes.
The other, I mean, all of
Mm,
it comes back to movement in some way or another for
so
me. And then
true.
on the other side of it is, how are you recovering from movement, resting and all that. So we know sleep is really important. And, you know, I grew up in the time where it was like, I only got 4 hours of sleep, and this was kind of a badge of honor. And I think that
Yes, I did too,
now,
pulling all
right?
nighters in
Yeah,
college. Oh,
that's
yeah. Oh,
changing, and
yeah.
that's really great. So I think it's remember to play and remember to sleep well. And you know,
I love this.
yeah, those would be two. There's probably more, but those are my main two that come up.
Well, whenever it's time for me to write that book, we're going to be putting those two in, and
I
it's
love
it's
it.
so true. And I think you just hit on such an important point. Like, I think any one of us listening to this show right now could reflect on our own personal lives and think to ourselves, everybody listening right now, try to think back to when was the last time you moved and had fun while you were doing it. I bet that most of us are having a hard time thinking of when that time was. Why? Because you probably moved today. However, why are we doing the moving? We're mostly doing it, we're forcing ourselves because we quote have to exercise.
Yeah,
But
yes, exactly.
what if we just had fun instead while we were doing it? I wonder how much more we would manifest, how much more positive the rest of our day would be. Things would be very different.
They would be, I mean, I think also we would just take things a little less seriously.
So true.
You know, and I think that that's always a, just being a little less serious about the things that are
Yes.
important. Like I
Or and
think,
just a little less
yeah,
reactive, right?
oh yeah,
We
exactly.
make,
That's
we
all
make
part
a
of it,
big
right?
deal. Yeah.
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 I think we just need to, and then when things do get challenged, we have more resilience to manage that with we don't have the freak out. We can recognize
Yes.
there is a challenge because that's going to happen. We're seeing this now in our global world, but we're not, what can we do and not absorb it, but also not ignore it? So I think it
Yes.
gives you all of that tenacity and resilience to manage the whole potpourri of emotions and situations that do happen in life.
I wholeheartedly agree, Lara. And I think that's so beautifully said. Managing, not getting stuck in being so serious about everything. And like you said, I think if we can find that balance of bringing the joy and the rest back into our lives, allowing ourselves to rest because we need it, I think we would be really making strides in the rest of how we in the and just how we operate in our day-to-day lives in general outside of those choices. We wouldn't be making such a big deal. We wouldn't be getting so worked up. And what does that do? You and I both know that when in terms of our optimal health and longevity, if you want to live the highest quality of life possible for as long as possible, which I believe is something we would all like, finding more joy and rest is only going to serve you in achieving that goal. Because the faster we wear our nervous systems down, the more we burn ourselves out, the sooner that we're going to have another setback, which is what we all want to try to avoid,
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I love that. And it just builds resilience. It's so beautiful. Lara, thank you so, so much. Everyone listening, please go take advantage of this incredible offer. I mean, $5 for 5 weeks it's practically nothing. And I know I'm certainly going to be doing it. And I'm really, really, really excited. You'll find everything you need to stay connected with Lara in the show notes for today's episode. So don't worry about not being able to find her. And Lara, is there anything else you want to leave us with anywhere else that our listeners can find you and stay connected to you?
Well, just again, go to the website at lityoga.com. I'm on Instagram, Lara.Heimann, and the LYT Method is on there as well. Drop me a message, ask me any questions, guidance. I'm really here. I love this is a huge part. People are always surprised when I write back sometimes, but I love it. Please ask me
Me
questions.
too.
Yeah,
Right? That's why we do what we do. We want to
yes.
know how it's helping. And
Totally.
yeah.
Please reach out and give it a go, especially if you can get, 2 or 3 classes in a week. Over 5 weeks, you'll really, really sense a difference. And that's I would love that. So
I love that. And I love that recommendation because I'm going to set that goal for myself so that I can really work through it and give you some feedback and tell
I
you
would love
how
your
amazing.
feedback.
I
Like,
would love
and
to give
we're
it to you
always,
because
we really change and adapt because
I'm so
our
excited.
community. So please give me feedback on anything. Yeah.
Well, it means so much to us, Lara. Thank you for your generous time and energy today. It means so, so much. I am so excited that we are going to keep growing our connection, and I hope that you'll come back again.
I would love that. Thank you so much for
We would
having
love that too. Thank you for letting us support you today and for sharing about your incredible work.
me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Wow, universe. You just never stop surprising me, and I love it. Clearly, Spirit helped co create this episode, and I am so grateful. Lara and her LYT method are truly aligned with higher health on every single level. During this show, we talked about connection and alignment a lot, and Lara has truly created a method that serves as a tool for connection and alignment. By consciously paying attention to the body, we can use movement as a vehicle for connection and alignment that stretches far beyond the physical body and ripples out into every aspect of our lives. And if you're courageous enough to allow yourself to experience joy and fun as you move in a way that's connected and aligned, you might just completely transform into a version of you that feels so healthy, you can't even imagine how you ever let yourself miss out on the joy and connection that's always available to you. It is no coincidence that our most recent guests have echoed this same message that Lara and I shared today, that the very essence and foundation of being healthy is being connected to yourself, mind, body, and spirit, and to source, so you can make the choices in alignment with your highest and healthiest self. When you have the foundation of being connected, of being healthy, then navigating the inevitable challenges and life in general gets a whole lot easier. I hope you can feel the love and positive energy infused into this podcast episode. Remember, the world needs you and your light. So trust yourself, your path, and your heart. And the best way to do that is to stay connected to yourself, mind, body, and spirit, and to source. That's all being healthy truly is. Thank you so much for listening to Higher Health with Dr. Elizabeth Rodgers. If you enjoyed the show today, it would mean so very much to me if you subscribe to the show and leave an honest, positive review. You can easily subscribe by going to the upper right-hand corner of Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Odyssey, or wherever you listen to podcasts, and press the plus sign in the upper right-hand corner. Also, be sure to sign up for my email list and join my private Substack community to get even more content, value, and support on your health and well-being journey. You'll find these links in the show notes. Sending you so much positive and supportive energy today. I really hope you can feel it.